Hey guys, I'm your host Gudrun and you're watching GWENT News. In this week's episode we're gonna take a look at some suggestions by the GWENT players, and also we're gonna have some observations again, as the GWENT players never stop looking for interesting stuff in the GWENT, and one concerning matter that I would like to address. And the host for this week is one and only BabyJosus, who brings us his renewed Gudrun Shupe deck. And not to forget to mention, we have some quality memes once again this week, and it gets even better than the last week, so stay tuned for the memes. As mentioned before, another GWENT news, another observation. And this time it's Karma Ninja who has noticed that these two cards have the same protagonists in both of their card arts. And it wouldn't be the GWENT subreddit if it wasn't turned into the memes right away. Look at this marvelous creation by Kel Henser. And also the faction challenge has been turned into quite a meme, as we all know that the Syndicate faction is a bit overtuned, and now we are kind of being pushed to playing Syndicate even more and playing DJ even more, as we know that he is one of the best leaders of Syndicate as of now. An unexpected ally for everyone who gets bullied by DJ or Foltest has arisen from the ashes of Nilfgaard. And I have to say myself that Nilfgaard has been really successful in this meta. Now it's a more concerning matter. As we know, some card arts are getting changes as they are being too brutal or too lewd, as I could say. And it's also happened to our beloved Treason, where you can no longer see the pool of blood that comes afterwards. And now Treason is, after, I can say, more in the Forest Child, as you know it as Call of the Forest now, Warsan Jr., and also the girl on Nivel's bag has been changed. There's one more card and it's Wes, who's been also changed, and probably there's many more cards that have been changed without us noticing. One very interesting card idea has been suggested by the user by the name of Stormkicker345. Take a look yourself. And there's been one more meme card suggestion by As of Plays, and it's a Geralt card that gets changed after every episode of the TV Witcher series. But if every episode is going to get pushed just like the release of the Witcher series, it's not going to be a very good card, as I can say. Zombie1305 has summarized the meta in a very jokey way, and I thought that you need to see this, so go check this out down in the description. Fun little meme was made by Yerfeldi in regards to Pavel Berja's tweet that Dijkstra is just the 4th most played leader. Spoiler alert for the books. As Mickey55 has suggested, an addition of skin for M here. It would be the Urchin of Erlenwold skin. My time is up in this episode, but it's time for our guest. Today's guest is BabyJosus, who brings us his Gudrun Shupe deck guide. Enjoy!
Hello everyone, and thank you for watching this video. My name is BabyJosus. You might have seen me before on GWENT News. I made a Gurney Core deck and I talked about it, and I hope you were able to, play it and have good results with it. But now, this time, I made a Gudrun Shupe deck. I've been making a Gudrun Shupe deck before in the last season, but last season they changed, or I should say nerfed, some cards from the Syndicate faction, and I felt like Gudrun Shupe was not that playable anymore. It was very popular on the ladder because I had a pretty good score with it and people started net decking me. But yeah, now I made a new version of the Gudrun Shupe deck. It still runs a lot of the same cards, but the bronze core is a little bit different, and I added a couple new gold cards, which I think, give a boost to the deck. So of course we run Shupe, and when you make a Shupe deck, you have to run one bronze card of each, so you cannot run duplicates. That's the rule when you build a Shupe deck. So it's a different kind of concept when you're deck building, but I really like it. It's something different, and I think Shupe is a very flexible card. Sure, sometimes it doesn't give you what you want or what you're looking for, but most of the time, if you believe hard enough, you will get it. I'm certain about that. And aside of Shupe, we run Siggy Reuven. Siggy Reuven is a pretty good card. It's auto-include in my opinion, in the Syndicate faction. I made sure that I have 5 different kind of gangs in my deck. So that means that you always get 9 coins from Siggy. That means he's at 12 or 13. And it makes sure that you get the ship out of the deck or the graveyard. Depends on when you play Siggy Ruven. And that's if you play it in round 1, you also tin with the ship to make sure you find Shupe. Or Bincy, because Bincy is also a very important card in this deck. Bincy you usually combine with Gudrun. You use Gudrun on Bincy. Bincy is 13. And you have 9 coins in the bank, so that means you get your ship out. And that's a pretty good play. 17-point play. Aside of that, we run the Novigradian Justice. Novigradian Justice you can use on the Cleaver's Muscle or the Bare Knuckle Brawler. So the Bare Knuckle Brawler you use if you have some crime cards in your hand. We run a couple of them. We run Eavesdrop, Slander, Eventide Plunder, Swindle, and that's it. That's it for the crime cards. So we don't run many crime cards. But if you have a couple of them, for example 2, this is usually a 12-point play with the Novigradian Justice, which if you use it on the Cleaver's Muscle, it's only a 10-point play. Perhaps it's an 11 or 12-point play if they get damaged because they have a shield, so you block 1 point. But most of the time this is just a 10-point play. It's a tempo play, and this is more of a setup because you have crime cards in your hand. So, you know, we basically use this for tinning because we want to find Shupe and we want to find Bincy, but it's still a pretty good card. Aside of that, we run Philippa Eilhart. It's it's a pretty good card. Yeah, I think the card is pretty good. It's an auto include. You generally want to play this when you can steal an engine, or you just want to play this for value. So, you know, you use your coins, of course, and if you use 9 coins, for example, it's a 21-point play. And that's a pretty good play. That's a huge tempo swing. So yeah, you usually want to play this on the biggest units, but sometimes you just want to deny an engine. For example, if you play against Northern Realms, or if you play against Syndicate, then you could steal some engines. For example, you could steal you could steal the ship, but you could also steal one of the brothers and then perhaps get some carryover into the next round. Aside of that, we play Morales and Graydon. They are pretty good hull removal cards. And Morales you can play for 8 for 9, the 9 engine, but you can also decide to use the tribute. And perhaps you could destroy like a townsfolk. With Graydon you need to first put a bounty on the unit, so that's why we run Caleb Manga, we have Slander, and we have the Witch Hunter. So you should be able to get Graydon off, and I think Graydon is one of the key cards in this deck, aside of Shupe and Bincy. I think Graydon can definitely carry you the games, and he's most of the time your MVP. But yeah, if you don't have bounty, then it's of course a really bad play. So make sure to keep bounty in your hand if you have Graydon. You can decide to pay the tribute, get some boost, but you don't have to do that. But if you need to have a coin spender, then you can definitely choose to pay the tribute. So Caleb Manga, he puts a bounty on something. He has a cooldown, so if you play him, you usually just use the bounty. Then you can play Ewaldo, or the Witch Hunter Executioner and get rid of the unit that has bounty on it. And then you gain coins and you can keep doing that. And I think bounty is one of the best abilities in the Syndicate faction, so that's why I definitely put it in my Shupe deck to make sure we can win some games. And we have Eavesdrop, which is also tinning, and it gives us 5 coins. Previous muscles, Novigrad Injustice target, as I said before. We have these Blacksmith, which is a pretty good spender because Ewald, he has to use 2 coins, and sometimes you have 1 coin left, and then the Blacksmith can use that 1 coin, so that's pretty good. Witch Hunter Executioner for the bounty, but I can also just put bleeding on units. For if you want to go out of the round, you can put you can spend your coins to put bleeding on the opponent's units. And he might pass. He might be like, okay, I'm gonna go out. I don't want to deal with this. Slander, of course. So we do run Eventide Plunder, and you know there are some other 4 proficient cards that you could run. For example, where is it? Cutthroat or the Scholar. But I do like to have some artifact removal, and it is a crime, so it has synergy with these guys. It also gives you coins, but usually you can mulligan it away if you don't think your opponent plays any artifacts. Swindle's a pretty good card, can be 6 for 4. So yeah, it has some RNG, but I do really like this card. It's auto-include in my opinion. We have the Bag Alley Chemist, which you don't see that often. I mean, we are running a Shupe deck, right? You have to play a bunch of bronzes that you usually don't play. But I don't think it's a bad bronze. It's actually a pretty good bronze. It's just a 6 or 4, which is just pretty good value, in my opinion. And the reason why we put the Wretched Addict in the deck is because it has synergy, because this gives poison to a unit and then boost it. And this unit wants to have the wants to be poisoned, so he can boost by 1 every turn. And usually if you're red or blue, you can play these cards just to play them, and it generally gives you a lot of value. And if they decide to use Hull Removal on the Wretched Addict, then you have a higher chance of having your Vinci stay on the board. So definitely, there is definitely some strategy behind it. We have the Witch Hunter for the bounty, and we run Sea Jackal, and Sea Jackal is just one of the best 4 proficient bronzes in the Syndicate faction. Especially if you can trigger the Horde 7, you just gain more points. And I generally play him after I used Gudrun and Vinci. If I have fans in my hand, I usually use fans first, because it's at its best when you have 9 coins. We also have the Kikimori Warrior, which is basically in the deck because we needed a cut-up tag for Siggy Reuven. But on the other hand, it's a 4 for 4 because of that, and it could potentially be a 7 for 4. If you eat the ship and you have 9 coins, the ship comes back, so it's a 7 for 4. If it sticks again, you can do it again, but sometimes you also want to spend coins, so usually you either play this for 4 for 4 with Siggy, or it's just a 7 for 4. And the last card that we included into the deck is the Internal Fire Discipline. It's also a spawner. It has a cooldown, so usually it's a 5 for 4, but sometimes you don't have any spanners anymore and you can use it again. It's a pretty decent 4 proficient card. So yeah, that's basically the deck. I hope you're gonna enjoy it. Right now you have the Syndicate Leader Challenge going on, and I picked Gudrun, so I was happy to make another Gudrun Shupe deck. And yeah, it's been doing pretty good for me, and I hope it will do good for you as well. I hope you will support Gudrun and not DJ. because DJ is broken, and I hope CD Projekt Red is gonna do something about it in the end of the season. But until then, we can enjoy this deck and hope we can, you know, beat some DJs on the ladder. So yeah, that was it. That was it for me, and I hope you'll have a great rest of your day. So yeah, see you next time.
This is it from BabyJosus, and this is it from GWENT News. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.